All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we're going to talk about which one of these four major shortstops that just changed teams is going to have the best season next year. Before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button for us. We are growing the family. If you're already a subscriber, I want to say thank you for keeping along with us. Make sure you like that button, or hit the like button for us so that it makes our videos more popular. And as always, hit us in the comments and let us know what you think. So, all right, $1.1 billion worth of shortstops on the move this offseason. You got Dansby Swanson going to the Cubs, Xander Bogaerts going to the Padres, Carlos Correa going to the Giants, and Trey Turner going to the Phillies. A little bit of a surprise there, obviously, but we're going to break it down a little bit. I mean, I think you can tell that the Cubs are trying to make themselves better a little bit, going to getting Cody Bellinger and Dansby Swanson. Giants obviously got Mitch Haniger and Carlos Correa. And then, of course, the Phillies are already, stacked and ready to rock and roll. But I think Trey Turner obviously gives them a superstar to play for the first half of the season with Bryce Harper out.
I would agree with that. I personally like Xander to San Diego. I think he's in a better situation. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, though, when Tatis comes back. If they're going to move Tatis out to the outfield, or if they're going to put Tatis at second. So that's going to be very interesting to see what they do with when that piece comes back into play. Honestly, I'm quite surprised that the Phillies made that big of a move, or not the Phillies, the Cubs made that big of a move with Dansby for close to $200 million when they traded off basically everything in the last 2 years. And I mean, I know you said they brought in Bellinger, but how good is Bellinger really going to be in that lineup? So, I mean, I personally think Xander's going to have the best year out of all of them. I think that puts him in a better position, puts a lot of protection around his bat in that lineup. In between Juan Soto and Tatis when he comes back, and
Matt Carpenter's their DH now. They just added him today. So
I mean, it's definitely. I think he's in a better situation. I think the Phillies kind of stretched and overpaid for Trey Turner. I know Alex and I have talked about it, where towards the end of his career, when they're still going to be paying all this big money, he's going to be pushing 40 years old and
not playing shortstop.
No, so I mean, how effective is he going to be? That late in his career, once he gets past these next, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly agree with you. I think for me, the person that's put in the best position to succeed is probably Xander Bogaerts, right? We've already talked about the lineup, Matt Carpenter, and they've talked about trading Tatis, actually. The Padres have talked about trading him for an elite, starting pitcher. So we'll see, if that works out for them. If not, obviously they have a great lineup with Juan Soto, Machado, Tatis, Xander, and especially Matt Carpenter. Jake Cronenworth's obviously a really good player over there.
They have Will Myers still.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think they have Will Myers anymore. Yeah, they don't have Will Myers anymore. But, for the Phillies, I think the Trey Turner deal was huge for them to feel like they can go back to the World Series and put themselves back in a position to be there. And when you have Bryce Harper needing that shoulder/elbow surgery, whatever he's got going on, it's going to end up being they have somebody to kind of lift them, right? They have a superstar on their team to lift them while he's gone. And then, of course, when he comes back and plays DH and is healthy, I mean, you got two of the best hitters in the game in general. I mean, Trey Turner, in my opinion, is the best of the four shortstops that moved in general. So for me, I think Trey Turner's also in a really good situation to succeed. The guy's been a 300 hitter his whole career, or 310 hitter his whole career, basically.
I mean, he's definitely the fastest, but
I don't know. I'm interested to see the way that Carlos Correa plays for the Giants. I feel like the Carlos Correa deal is they just threw money at the biggest name on the market to try and get somebody after missing out on Aaron Judge.
Which they actually offered more to Judge than the Yankees offered Judge. So same amount of money, just different years.
Yeah.
He got what, 9,360?
Correa got more than that.
No. He got 13,350.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But Judge got 9,360. I think so. It'd been the same money. The Giants offered him 10,400.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the dude's contract.
But the problem with Correa right now is he didn't pass his physical, so they had to postpone him being announced. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, 2035 is what, 13 years away? Is that right? Am I doing my math right on that?
Be
13 years.
Well, it'd be
I mean, I guess-
6 because it would start next year for 2023.
Yeah, so it'd be 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll still be 40. Like, you're giving a shortstop a contract till 40 years old. They're not going to be playing shortstop at 40 years old. Like Jimmy Rollins.
I don't get these massive
I don't
contracts.
get it. I was going to say the same thing.
If you're signing anybody past, I want to say 7 to 8 years, you're making a massive gamble. Even if the kid is 22, because so much can happen in that time, and you just locked yourself down. And then for you to go out and do a 12 to 13 year contract that also is so much money at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword.
You're handcuffing yourself.
Yeah, we've got this guy for a very fucking long time, and he's also taking us for a lot of damn money if something were to happen. Like, what if he turns around and he gets like some sort of like career-ending injury, and there's something in the contract? I don't know how these contracts work out in situations like that, but like all of a sudden you're hooked on to him for another like 8 years. You got a damn Bobby Bonilla day on your hands right here.
Right.
Yeah.
For more money than the 1.2 million that Bobby Bonilla gets.
Yeah. Dead cap sucks.
Yeah.
That's the realistic part of a lot of guaranteed contracts is the dead cap that ends up being owed to these players that retire or injury or.
Yeah, just like Alex said, I don't understand these long contracts for guys that play these positions that are so strenuous on the body. Like, I mean, could you move him to the outfield potentially at some point? Maybe DH him, but I mean, it's just like Alex said, if you're too much money.
Jeter played in his 40s, didn't he?
He played like 38, 39.
Yeah, but that's like they're like, oh well, if somebody was like Jeter did it, like Jeter wasn't as good in the end of his career, but also you're talking about arguably the greatest of all time to ever play shortstop. Like,
but
you're the outlier is one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
Like you can't use that as your.
But Jeter also didn't do those big 14-year contracts.
No, he took less money.
He did less money. He did what Chipper did.
Yeah.
He took less money. He did year-to-year contracts. Stayed with the team. But so I mean, it's one of those things where I mean, teams now. So I guess in a sense, Double A is actually helping the Braves a lot in these situations by not signing these guys to these multi-million-dollar, multi-year deals, multi-$100 million deals. So, I mean, would we have loved to gotten Xander? Yeah, but I don't know if we would have signed him for 12, 13 years.
No, there's
no, we would have never done it.
So, I mean, would have done that. So,
I mean, hell, AA didn't even want to really give Dansby the what?
He offered him seven 170 or like 160. It was more money than they offered Freddie, but he's also younger than Freddie. So I mean, it was more money they offered Freddie, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
So
Alex was actually right, by the way. Derek Jeter did play till he was 40. Now, granted, when he was 39, he batted 190. When he was 40, he batted 256 with 4 homers. So it wasn't exactly playing.
Yeah, he still played, but it was not the Jeter.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is like Ripken. Ripken played close to 40.
Yeah.
I mean, and he went down too. I mean, it's once you hit a certain point, these guys are not going to be as successful as they are now.
Yeah. To get back on topic, but I think like you guys said, Xander is probably most likely set up this success.
Yeah.
He's going to have the easiest path to having a whole team success.
Yeah.
Just being able to walk into that team, get what's going on. The one that really blows my mind is Dansby. I'm glad someone else took him for more money because, in my opinion, Dansby's offense, besides this past year, his contract year, has not lived up to what it should be hyped at.
It's so up and down for him.
Yeah.
He's either going to strike out 80 times in 20 games.
He's so hard,
or he's going to hit 400 for 20 games.
And I think he's now making like $10 more million a year than what we offered him. I truly think also Dansby's going to be one of those guys where he's going to fall victim of the contract year, where I think this past year would be one of his best years of his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this past year, it is without a doubt the best year of his entire career. Most homers, most RBIs, not the most walks, but
because he was striking out.
Most stolen bases, exactly. But he had the most strikeouts. I mean, he was averaging 117 strikeouts a season. He struck out 182 times this year.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's a massive jump.
That's a 70
plus
massive increase.
Jump.
And so now, granted, his batting average jumped. He's a 255 career hitter, batted 277 this year.
Yeah, but if you're swinging a lot more, you should expect the batting average to kind of go
right.
up with
If you're taking more swings, you should get some more hits.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Dansby's great. He's probably one of the best defensive shortstops in the game.
Oh, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, 28. Like, what are you gonna get 6 good years out of this guy defensively? And
yeah.
When he hits 34, he's probably gonna go downhill a lot defensively.
Right. Well, and that's where you look at it in the situation like we were saying. Do you do
you
the
can't
1 year
DH a guy.
contracts?
Like, you can't DH a guy.
No. But I'm talking about just like the 1 2 year contract. contracts at that point.
Yeah.
But Dansby was actually the one that got the smallest contract of all of them.
And he should.
And he only signed a 7-year deal.
Yeah, he doesn't belong in the same league as those other.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I'd really put Carlos Correa in the same league as Xander Bogaerts and Trey Turner either.
Carlos Correa is
You know?
only up there just because of what he did in Houston.
Yeah.
So, but you saw a decline from Houston to Minnesota.
Yeah.
When he went to Minnesota, he didn't do half of what he did in Houston because he didn't have the team around him.
No.
So, but you're putting him in a position now in San Francisco where he does have more of a team around him.
Yeah.
They might not have the pitching, but they have the bats around him to be able to kind of protect him to a degree. But yeah, I mean, with the pitching and the lineup that San Diego has, I really feel like Xander's going to be the best one to succeed. Trey will be second, then Correa and Dansby will be the last one on my list.
Yeah, maybe if Correa actually gets his health right. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So I guess at this point, Dansby will be third and Correa be last until we figure out what's going on with the physical that he failed.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
but yeah, that's where I stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think will be the most successful or have the most successful season next year out of these 4 shortstops. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.